Good morning and welcome to Morning Brew on Labour Social. I'm Graham Hughes. It is Monday, the 6th of November, 2023. Yes, the year is nearly over and the stress and the anxiety that it will be 2024 is about to begin. Now, what I want to talk about today is slightly touch on the disgusting comments made by Suella Braverman this weekend about taking tents away from homeless people. I also want to talk a little bit about the fact that there is yet another Tory rapist who has been shielded by the Tory party. Greg Hans is out there today saying, "Oh no, we didn't shield any rapists." You did, Greg. You totally did. There were 58 MPs at the last count who have been under investigation or are under investigation for for sexual assaults in nearly all of them in the Tory party. That's 1 in 5 of the Tory party. And don't forget, a lot of women in the Tory party are, a lot of people in the Tory party are women. So of the men, it's an even higher proportion. It is just, it's unconscionable. But what I just want to talk about quickly is how I'm going to tie this to my, pop culture shit that I normally go on about. This weekend saw the finale of the anime Attack on Titan. I don't know if any of you watch it, but if you don't, essentially, it's a story about humanity is stuck behind these giant walls because there's zombies outside the walls, and the zombies are giants. There's a lot more to it than that, but essentially, that's the gist of it. And no spoilers, please, in the chat for people who haven't seen it yet, who might be interested. But it basically, without giving anything away, there is the big bad. And they explain at the very end why they did what they did, which is, pretty horrific. Bit like, Trump when he was in charge, or Boris Johnson when he was in charge, or what Netanyahu's doing now, or what Putin's doing now. He says, basically, I'm an idiot with too much power. That's it. And that phrase has stuck with me. An idiot with too much. Why are you doing this? I'm an idiot with too much power. And we keep giving these people, Netanyahu, Putin, Trump, Sunak, Johnson, Truss, Greg Hans, Suella Braverman, Elon freaking Musk. We keep giving these people power. Even Elon Musk, right? He should have no power whatsoever. He is a vaporware salesman. He is going to be bankrupt. Mark my words, he will be bankrupt. Thunder Thought says within 5 years he will be bankrupt. And I'm inclined to agree with him. Because this guy, who is currently the richest man in the world, has built his empire not on an actual product like Bill Gates with Microsoft. And I know he stole DOS off somebody else, but, that's how he made his money. Or like Jeff Bezos with Amazon, where there's an actual physical thing where it's like, okay, yeah, I can see what we're getting. Musk is just a vaporware salesman. That's it, a vaporware salesman. He makes stuff up that he's going to sell, and he says it's around the corner. It's 12 to 18 months away. Like the hydrogen car is always 10 years away. Yeah, it's always in the future, isn't it? Because the future never arrives. And considering that Tesla, which is where he's got most of his money from, is vastly overvalued for what it is, it's a car company, the actual physical stuff that it makes isn't worth as much as the company is worth. It is way overpriced, and at some point that bubble's going to burst. Because at the moment, well, up till this year, essentially, there wasn't much competition for Tesla, but now there's loads of different electric cars on the market for people to choose from, and people are not choosing Tesla because Elon Musk is so toxic. Because he's like the worst kind of vaporware salesman, snakes oil salesman, tech bro, crypto bro, fascist. He's a crypto fascist for all the Red Dwarf fans in the house. But yeah, just to go back to Suella Braverman now, I just want to say, what a disgusting human being. Like, from every cell of her body is just vile. She is unconscionably cruel, saying that being homeless is a lifestyle choice Is having that face a lifestyle choice, Suella? Is it? Or Sue Ellen, as your actual name is, because you were named after a character from a really crap soap opera from the 1980s. Yeah. Remember Alan Sugar making a mint from selling tat? Well, Nick, I don't know about tat, but I know that I did have a Amstrad PCW 8256 when I was a kid that I used to do my work on. But most of the time I just spent playing like Bounder and Batman and Silicon Dreams. The text-based Zork. Oh, God. Game. But yeah, taught me how to read and write those games. Speaking of Ed, would anyone like some toast? Says Tox. Anyway, welcome to everyone in the chat. The bomb-proof car that failed on demonstration. Yeah, Richard, he had wasn't it the Homer car that he's built? This the Tesla Cybertruck. And you show that picture of it to someone who hasn't seen it, but like, what is that? What is that? And it's supposed to be indestructible. And he did a demonstration on stage, and he got someone to like hit the window with a rock, and the window just broke. And he was like, "Yeah, but it didn't shut. It didn't go through. It didn't go through the window." And it's like, "Yeah." And as Thunderfoot has pointed out, that's not going to be helpful if the car goes on fire with you in it, and you have to smash the window to get out, and you can't smash the window because it's reinforced. And oh my God, everything about this design is absolutely terrible. If you haven't seen Thunderfoot's latest video, please check it out, because he milks it a little bit, I have to say. But the similarities between Musk and the Cybertruck, and when Homer got to create his own car in a Simpsons episode of Brother, Where Art Thou? Yeah, just very those parallels. Those parallels are amazing. Om nom nom nom, says Colin. He made terrible satellite receivers for Sky too. Yes, indeed. I hear they're not very good. Not very good quality, and also, aren't they blocking a lot of the space in space? For other things, like they keep crashing into stuff. I don't know. It seems quite dangerous to be throwing up these bits of metal into the orbit of the Earth willy nilly. We've already got enough cyber trash up there. Cyber trash? That's not the right word, is it? Isn't it like what is it? Orbiting object? There's a collection. Someone's job is tracking all of the trash that flies around the planet. Astro trash. There you go. Try saying that after a couple of beers. One Angry Pagan, thank you very much. We need society to become more politically educated again. One of the greatest Tory tricks was to politically disassociate the public from politics. Yeah, that's a good point, and thank you very much for the super chat. I also think that more important than that is I don't want to force people who aren't into politics to get into politics. I always make the analogy with football and say you can't make people who are not interested in football or cricket or rugby really like them. And when you talk to people about like what subjects they think should be compulsory in school, generally their first reaction is to say what they studied, what they enjoyed. So if you enjoyed languages, you'll be like, yeah, definitely languages, definitely we should have languages in school, which I agree with to an extent, but I don't think it should be compulsory. There are a few reasons for this, but mainly because I'm crap at languages and it made me feel stupid not being able to just grasp them like other people could. Like they'll flick through Trickle and then come out like speaking fluent French, and I was like, how do you do that? I've got a mate who's a polyglot. I think he speaks about 7 languages now, and he got married in Sicily. Now Sicily has a different language to Italy. It's Sicilian, and he learnt Sicilian so he could make part. I mean, and he speaks like Mandarin Chinese. I think he does Cantonese Chinese as well. Like I don't know how he does it. It to me, it's like witchcraft. But yeah, people think, yeah, I like this thing. I enjoy this thing. It's important. And learning a language helps your brain. I think it even staves off dementia in later life. Honestly, it's really, really good for you. But at the same time, dragging people who aren't interested into something that they're not interested in is just it doesn't necessarily end up with the result that you want it to, because you think people will become politically engaged and then they'll act rationally. But this is the problem. people are irrational, and that's why I've got no problem with the finale of Attack on Titan, because I think it's absolutely spot on without giving anything away. Yeah, humans, eh? Gary, also nobody wins. Sorry, that is a bit of a spoiler, but literally no one wins. The baddies don't win, the goodies don't win, nobody wins because humans. Dickheads. Gary DeSantis, £5 super chat. Thank you very much. Bought an EV last year. Tesla was off the table. Left X for Threads this year. Let Hopkins and Robinson shout into their own toxic echo chamber. I couldn't agree more, Gary. We've got an EV now, and it's not a Tesla. And friends of mine who are getting EVs because they've come down in price a lot, are not getting Teslas as well for similar reasons. Because like, well, why would I make Elon Musk more money when he's just been absolutely horrible to everyone that I like, and he picks on minorities, and he's helping Trump win the election next year, and that's something that like I'm really getting concerned about now. As much as I feel like he's probably going to go to jail, he can still become president from jail. There's only like 3 things that you have to do in order, bars to becoming president. One of them, you've got to be 35 years old. Another one, you've got to be born in America or on US soil. So you can be bought in an embassy. You can be born in an embassy in Nairobi or in the Panama Canal Zone of Panama when it was under US control. And you're still an American citizen. So it's a little bit kind of like, there's a little bit of a grey area here. But if you were born outside the American embassy in Nairobi, then you wouldn't be able to stand as president of the United States. So Boris Johnson could stand to become the president of the United States because he was actually born in New York. Much like his, America Johnson. Trump over there. But yeah, I'm as much as I am getting more and more confident that he will go to jail, I'm getting less and less confident that he won't become president again next year. There's too many variables. Biden's too old to start with. The war in the Middle East could spill out over the borders. I think Andrew Blinken did really well over the weekend, going and talking to leaders in Jordan, Iraq, and in Turkey. People will be like, he didn't achieve anything. They haven't got a ceasefire or a pause, which people are calling for in Gaza. But he did manage to basically, engage other countries around in that region, and get them to call for a ceasefire rather than more war. And I'd rather they do that. I'm not saying he got them to call for a ceasefire, because obviously America and the UK aren't calling for a ceasefire. They're calling for a humanitarian pause, which is different, apparently. But I would much rather the other leaders in the area are calling for a ceasefire from Israel rather than, hey, everyone, let's invade Israel. Let's attack Israel, as Hezbollah are calling for, and also Iran. Nadali, it's a shame that Musk named the car after the greatest yet most maligned scientist of modern times, Nikola Tesla. Naledi. No, he didn't found the company. There was 2 other guys who founded the company. He just came in as one of the investors at the beginning and muscled everyone out. Biden is suffering from memory loss now. It's worrying. Yeah, he's too old. But then so's Trump. Trump is becoming increasingly unhinged in his rants and his ramblings, and he's not getting anything right. He's having to stick. He's having to stick to the auto cue, and he was like Johnson in the way that he eschewed auto cues. He thought that he didn't need them. He could just ramble on about anything and people would be happy. But every time he goes off the auto cue now, it's really, really obvious because he just doesn't know what he's talking about, and he starts talking about Orban being the leader of Turkey, or he starts talking about hummus instead of Hamas. It's a bit cringy. Have you seen Trump's tweets? Yes, Nick. Absolutely, Nick. Where are you, Jeebus? Says Tox, indeed. Careful, you do not call it a ceasefire. You call it a humanitarian pause, which can be extended. I don't really get my head around the difference. I understand that a ceasefire would have to require Hamas to agree to it, which they're not going to do. But taking the moral high ground, yes, the Israelis definitely could stop bombing stuff in Gaza and allow supplies in. There used to be hundreds of trucks with supplies going into Gaza every day, and then since the invasion, also since October 7th, the number of trucks going in each day, it's just a handful so far. Not even each day, just like so far. So yeah, Gaza's in real peril at the moment. And in a lot of ways, let's not go down the whole, let's talk about the Middle East situation route, because I don't think any of us know enough about it to, really make statements on what should be done and what shouldn't be done. Actually, no, we should say that we just don't want civilians killed. I think that's fair enough. So I'll take that back. Yes, you can say you don't want civilians killed. But one thing that I think both sides need to acknowledge, wherever you're coming from on this debate, matter of life and death, is that Netanyahu is absolutely playing straight into Hamas's hands. This is exactly what Hamas wanted, because they don't want peace. They just want instability forever. Netanyahu doesn't want peace, wants instability forever. Keep him in power, keep him in charge. Idiots with too much power. Why are you doing this immensely damaging and horrible thing when you see yourself as a good person? Because I'm an idiot with too much power. What's your take on the Labour councillors quitting because Starmer won't bow to their commands? As Admiral Pegasus. I think that I can understand to some extent where they're coming from, but at the same time, I don't think it's helpful, because it is very much a situation that will make no difference whatever Starmer says to the actual conflict, actually what's happening in Gaza right now. But what it will do is make a big difference to people who would otherwise vote Labour in the upcoming election, in which we need to see the Tories out. And I can't stress this enough. We need to see the Tories out. That Suella Braverman has declared war on the poor. She thinks being poor, being homeless, is a lifestyle choice. There are 58 at the last count. There might be more. I don't know. 58 MPs at the moment under investigation for sexual assault. 58. That's actually their majority, isn't it? Wow. Not just the left, the right wing are being naive if they think that the acceleration isn't going to badly accelerationism. I don't really isn't going to badly affect their ability to survive. Jesus was the ultimate socialist, says Jan. Yeah, you're right. Honestly, I think Jesus seemed like a good guy to me, but his teachings have been corrupted and misinterpreted, and people in America go, oh yeah, when he said that rich people can't go to heaven. Yeah, well, that was just talking about a goat going through a gate. No, it wasn't talking about a goat or a donkey or a sheep going through a gate in Jerusalem. No, or camel. It was literally saying, if you are rich, you're not going to heaven. Love thy neighbor. Don't build a wall between you and your neighbor. I said, love that. That's what he said. Love thy neighbor. I think if I'm a bit of an atheist for Jesus. I think if more people listen to the teachings of Jesus, we might be in a better place. Then again, if people listen to the teaching of Buddha, we might be in a better place. But Suella Braverman is a Buddhist. She's part of a Buddhist sect, and you might want to have a look at this. Type in Braverman Buddhist sect into Google and see what comes up, because it turns out she's part of a sect in which the leader was a notorious sexual offender over many years. Still venerated. He's not with us anymore, thank God, but or thank Buddha. She's managed to find the most appalling sect of Buddhism and join that. And don't forget, a lot of people in the West make this mistake. They go, Christians and Jews and Muslims are always fighting each other. But those Eastern religions, they're all about peace. Like the Hare Krishnas and the Jains. Okay, I'll give you the Jains and the Buddhists. But then you've got to remember that it was the Buddhists in Sri Lanka that wiped out the Tamil Tigers by literally wiping out where they lived. Still never investigated. It's the Buddhists in Burma that have driven out the Rohingya Muslims in Burma or in Myanmar, and it's the Buddhists in China that invaded the Buddhists in Tibet, and is also treating the Uyghur Muslim population in the northwest of China. I mean, in absolutely horrific and inhumane ways. So just because someone's a Buddhist or a Hindu or a Sikh doesn't necessarily mean they're a religion of peace, because I think that the name religion of peace is a bit of an oxymoron. Unless you look at the Jains. The Jains are the people in India who wipe the floor, they brush the floor when they walk, so they don't step on any insects, because they don't want to cause any harm to any living thing. They don't want to upset any living thing. 31 says, Buddhists have not been at all kind to lots of groups, not entirely certain how they maintain their appearance as one of the most peaceful religions. Well, yeah, good point. I mean, the Japanese were Zen Buddhists. And they went in and did horrific things in China and across Southeast Asia. This is absolutely horrific war crimes that were committed that we don't really hear much about. We hear a lot more about Nazi war crimes. I guess that's because that's closer to Britain and America, and America was more involved. Actually, no, it was just involved in getting rid of the Japanese, I guess, out of World War II. So, yeah, take that back. It's just not been covered as much in media. But what the Japanese did in the Second World War, I mean, wow. Yeah, but that doesn't absolve the British or the French or the Germans, or especially the Belgians or the Portuguese or the Spanish or the Italians for what they did in the years of colonization and conquest around both the Americas and Africa. It's easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to pass into heaven with his wealth. It basically means you can't take it with you. You see, you can't take it with you. I thought it was for a rich man to enter heaven. It depends how you translate it, I guess, but I like the idea of rich people not going to heaven. Especially all the popes being up there with St. Peter at the pearly gates. Got to come in. No, but I was the Pope. Yeah, but you were rich. No, I wasn't. Yes, you were. You had your own microstate. You had your own bank. You wore clothes woven with gold. You slept in a 4-poster mahogany bed in a fortress palace. You were rich. No, that was the money of the church. In fact, since that was the money of the church, St. Peter, that means that you're the rich man. Really? I was just living in poverty in a palace. I'll have you know, in a simple bed that I got from IKEA, in a palace, in a fortress palace in the middle of one of the most beautiful cities in the world. Anyway, what's the queen in heaven? Freddie Mercury. This is why heathen paganism was the clearer path for me to follow. Nature is not in itself peaceful or chaotic. More, it is both. Yes, it's very much. Yes. Anyway, Plum, don't laugh. Next time I'll buy you a mango. What? No point in being the richest in the cemetery, Jan. Yeah. I get that, and it's why I think there needs to be a cap on wealth. Like, how can one person be worth over $200 billion? Like, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Once you hit the first 100 million, you have to pay 100% tax on anything you earn above that. Oh, okay. You don't want to pay tax, or reinvest it. Reinvest all that money into your business. Will allow you to do that. Spend it on advertising. I don't care. How about you spend it on building good stuff for people instead of building like phallic fucking symbols in the sky in your skyscrapers and stuff to show off what a man you are? It's quite pathetic. Or spending all this money on a super yacht for yourself to use for 2 weeks every year. How about instead of that, you actually improve the lives of other people? Maybe go back to your hometown and just pay for loads of amazing stuff in your hometown. Maybe you could do that. Paul Ringo. Anyway, where's Jesus? Actually, though, I've got to say that Paul McCartney has spent a bit of money in Liverpool, obviously with the Liverpool Institution of Performing Arts, which he is the founder and patron of. But yes, no pockets in a shroud. The Turing Shroud. Take a look at Germany, says Xavier. Okay. That was fun. I'm going to Germany later this month because I'm going to go and pick up some Lego. And I'm going to take it to a children's centre in, it's going to go to a children's centre in Ukraine. That's the plan anyway. So I know I keep talking about this, but I've got to make the actual bookings and things to make it happen. But it will happen. And we're going to get some Christmas toys to some children's centres in Ukraine. And I'm sure there are people who go, why don't you do something for the children of Gaza? Listen, I can't really do much for the children of Gaza. I give to the Red Cross. That's all I can do at the moment. And I don't even know if they can get into Gaza at the moment or they can have any effect with the limited supplies they've got. Ukraine is not so far away. It's a couple of days' drive. I can get there. I can do it. I know I can. I've done it 3 times before. Anyway, so back to the chat. You would be interested in what Mark said about Malthus in that regard. Well, I would. Malthus was the guy who said, in Malthusian logic, saying, well, the human population is just going to grow exponentially, but the amount of food on the planet can't grow that quick, the amount of arable land. But he didn't see the advent of nitrates in the soil, fertilizer effectively allowing us to farm land again and again, year after year, with more crop yield. He didn't see the advent of, genetically modified crops. And also, it just didn't end up that way. So everyone's, Malthus, you were wrong. But in a way, he was right, because we have grown exponentially. Our energy input that we take in, has grown exponentially, and our ability to make that energy in an environmentally sustainable way has gone. And this is an existential threat. So, I think history might be a little bit more forgiving towards old Malthus. Was he Reverend Malthus? With his Malthusian logic, quite depressing idea that at some point we're going to run out of resources, and that's going to be the point where everything turns to shit. Brian, hello. If I can't take it with me, I'm not going. Says Brian. Is that what is that what Rupert Murdoch said? Is it true that most Tories are trolls? Tory trolls. Well, I think that a lot of people in the Conservative Party are both pig ignorant and cruel. And it is just a heady mix of this arrogance that has been taught to them, not just through their parents, but through the schools that they went to. Nearly all of them privately educated. I know I bang on about this a lot, but Suella Braverman went to a private school. Rishi Sunak went to a private school. You ask why someone like Kimmy Badenoch is the way she is. She went to a private school. So that's my excuse. Not excuse. That's what I give as the general go-to. It's either private school or someone who's run with private school people all their lives and has to maybe be even more extreme to keep those private school people on board because they want to be seen as one of the private school people. So they're effectively the squibs of the private school world. So Liz Truss, for instance, is a squib of the private school world. I would say that what's her name? Greg Hands, and also Priti Patel, definite squibs. Oh, and Lee Anderson. Lee Anderson, he is very much of that squib variety of someone who would have given their right arm to have gone to a posh private school, but didn't. And instead of railing against that and saying that's unfair, the injustice of it all, has embraced that and embraced his position as this kind of weird, unsettling giver of succor to these millionaire bankers' sons who wouldn't, piss on someone like Lee Anderson if they were on fire, if they were leading a union or if they had a normal job. But because he is a Tory MP, he gets away with saying the stuff that they want to say, but they can't really say it. Same with Suella Braverman, but she obviously privately educated. But even though her parents came here at nothing and she had a private education. All right, Suella, yeah, whatever. But yeah, she's very much of that kind of mindset of, oh well, I'll be as horrible as possible, and that'll endear me to the base, the operative word here, of my party. And I think that what's come out over the weekend, I mean, we're going to see how things develop with the sexual assault charges that the Tory party seems to have covered up. This was revealed in the Mail, of all places, the Mail on Sunday. Big scoop on Sunday morning. And also the Suella Braverman comments about homeless people being a lifestyle choice. A lifestyle choice. Just stop and just think about that expression for a moment. Lifestyle choice. Do you know what else people like that have said as being a lifestyle choice in the past? Being gay. Being trans. If you want to go back a bit further, being left-handed. People didn't like the fact that people were left-handed, and they were forced to write with their right hand in school for many years. And then suddenly, when people were allowed to write with their left hand, oh my God, there were loads of left-handed people, until it got to a point, and then it became 10% of the population or whatever it was, and it stayed there since 1971, because that's how many people in the population were left-handed. Same with gay people. The number of gay people isn't going through the roof. It's just that more people are content with saying, yeah, I'm gay, I can live a gay lifestyle, that's fine with me. And it rose exponentially over a few years, where people came out the closet and it wasn't so socially unacceptable to be gay. And then it hit a plateau, and now it's kind of stayed there. You know, that's just the way it works, because they were always gay people. It's not like making it so homosexuality wasn't illegal made people gay. It's not like making it easier for transgender people to get the help and support from the health service that they need makes people trans. It's a long road to go down. And if anyone who is trans is watching this, you honestly have my absolute admiration for being able to go down that route and take it on. And it's horrible, and I'm so sorry that you have to put up with the shit that's thrown at you along that journey, and it seems never ending at the moment, by these crackpot transphobic celebrities who just woke up in the middle of the night in a cold sweat one day for no reason whatsoever and went, I hate trans people. And then when they tried to explain why they hate trans people, it always comes down to, well, a man assaulted me. And I'm like, a cis man or a trans man or trans woman, a cis man. Okay, I'm really sorry that happened to you. That is absolutely awful. But why are you complaining about something that happened to you and then using that as an excuse to cross the road to an innocent person who's done nothing and punch them in the face because that person didn't do that thing to you? That just blows my mind. But yeah, we're not going to see an end to the transphobia, the homophobia, the anti-Semitism, the Islamophobia that we see in society. I don't think it will ever end entirely, but we can make it as socially unacceptable as possible. And what the Tories are doing, what Netanyahu's doing, what Trump is doing, what Putin is doing, what all these right-wing rabid nut jobs, what Musk is doing is making the unsayable, the most grotesque form of trolling and bullying, making it socially acceptable to do that and allowing these people to get away with it on platforms like Twitter. I'm off Twitter now completely. I mean, I go on it just to announce that I might be doing a show or something on this channel, but as far as having a conversation with anyone is concerned on Twitter, those days are over. I'm on Threads at Graham David Hughes if you want to follow me. I saw a thread by James O'Brien this weekend saying that our mate Emma Kennedy had got him to try out Threads again, and he was getting lots of love and support on there. So hopefully he'll be hanging around. So please, follow us on there. There's a Labour social channel. It's only new. It's not got much on it yet, but we're going to build on that. And I hopefully will be back. I've gone over time. I hopefully will be back this. Talking of James O'Brien, he's on video now. I should be back tonight at 8 o'clock. I don't know if any of you follow Supertansky on Instagram, but if you do, it's at Supertansky. She's had some really bad news in the last week, and so I don't know if we're going to be doing the swear jar tonight, but if she's up to it, we will be doing that. So look out for it. If you're not subscribed already, please subscribe, and you can leave a comment. And also, if you click the bell notification icon, it will let you know when we go live and we do shows like this. So hopefully I'll see you tonight. If not, tomorrow at 9:30, we'll have Phil Morehouse back here for Morning Brew. And until then, I'll just say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for the chat and the super chats. And until next time, hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.